This is the head of NATO, Stoltenberg, although I guess it might be pronounced Stoltenberg, Burr or whatever, wherever he, where he's from. This interviewer, Norwegian interviewer, asks him pretty simple questions about the China threat, quote unquote, because, NATO loves to talk about how harmful China is, just like the U.S. does. And these pretty simple questions baffle and befuddle the head of NATO. I'm going to have to maybe keep pausing it and reading it because it's not in English, but... Says you and NATO have pointed to the threat of China. I'd like to ask you a few questions about the China threat.
Hvor mange land har Kina grepet inn I militært de siste 40 årene?
He says in the past 40 years, how many countries has China intervened in?
Kommer til det, hvis du svarer på det spørsmålet. Hvor mange land har Kina grepet inn I militært de siste 40 årene?
Militarily. How many has China intervened in militarily in the past 40 years?
De har vært inn I Vietnam.
Svaret 0, de 40 årene.
He tries to say Vietnam, and the reporter goes, actually 0.
Har de ikke grepet
Vietnam gikk de inn I?
Det tidligere enn 40 år.
Ja vel, men det I hvert fall...
Så
He says that was over 40 years ago, and he looks baffled. Oh, was it? Okay, I was thinking of a different Vietnam.
Hvis vi holder oss til den tidsrammen, hvor mange land har Kina militære baser I rundt omkring I verden?
He then says, how many military bases does China have outside of bases? Outside of China?
Et fåtall.
Et land. Djibouti har de en konkret...
And head of NATO says, a few. No, it's actually one. It's in Djibouti.
Militær base som de har bygd ut. Den stor. På motsatt side har USA angrepet minst 30 land I samme.
He then says, in contrast, the U.S. has attacked at least 13 countries in the same period, the past 40 years.
At least
and that
doing
means military.
Some heavy lifting on that.
What's that?
I said at least doing some heavy lifting, and that's
yeah. Well, I was gonna say, because that means like we publicly said we are bombing this country would be 13, maybe, probably more, but that's like us publicly admitting it. Whereas CIA assassinating people, dozens and dozens more. U.S. quietly attacking people, dozens and dozens more. U.S. proxies killing and assassinating various government officials, like Israel assassinating Iranian officials, dozens more. So yeah, the at least is a little low.
13 land I samme periode. Amerikanerne har 750 baser I...
He then says the U.S. has 750 military bases in at least 80 countries. 750 may be a little low. I think it was up to 1,000. It may be down to 800, 900 now.
Minst 80 land, mange av dem på dørstokken til Kina. Likevel så mener du at det Kina.
He then says, you still think China poses the greatest threat? Anyway, it's, for those of you listening to the podcast, you don't get to see the stunned face of Stoltenberg, but it's simple reality. And so rarely do you see a journalist even ask a question like this, even point out to these people's faces how fucking pathetic they are, that they you really want to say China is the biggest threat in the world while the U.S. is bombing people around the globe, has surrounded China with military weaponry, continues to do that in various countries.
Well, what about all of China's ships in the North Australian Sea, which is what I would like to call the South China Sea from now on?
I wouldn't be surprised if they've tried that. Have they tried that? The North Australian Sea. Yeah, the U.S. You'll see, everyone's going to see articles from Reuters or whatever saying China planes fly near American, threaten American jets or whatever. And they regret to remind everyone this is like inches from Chinese airspace, whereas it's thousands of miles from U.S. airspace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They flew right over a military base. Like, bro, I can't walk outside and fart without touching a U.S. military base.
Yeah. Someone, let's see, Maria is saying in the chat that journalist is going to get fired. Want to bet? Yeah, you do wonder where, in the rare case you see a journalist actually question somebody, do they just have some amazing higher ups that allow them to do that, or it's very rare.